And now it's Boomer Life. Lifestyle ideas designed to make your life more engaging, meaningful, and complete. Celebrating the baby boomer generation, this is Boomer Life.
Nice to have you with us. Our long overdue show on hearing has finally happened here on Boomer Life, and we're glad you're with us to appreciate what's going on here as we bust a few myths and learn a whole lot about hearing, courtesy of Mark Hambley, president of NextGen and Mainland Hearing Group. Also joining us in studio is Dr. Ted Venema. Dr. Ted is a registered audiologist and owner of one of those NextGen clinics in Victoria.
Yep.
Now, Ted, we were talking about the hearing aid and the hearing tests. Let me give you an example, gentlemen, of this could be probably a myth, but I just want to throw this at you and let you make of it what you will. I have a very good friend and former boss with whom I have lunch every month. We get together and just chat. He's kind of a mentor to me, and I wouldn't miss it for all the money in the world. But it's taken us a while to organize our monthly lunches because he wears hearing aids, both of them.
Yes.
And when we go to restaurants, when we first started doing this, we would go to restaurants, we'd sit down, and then he'd say, no, we can't sit here. We got to move there. And we got to move somewhere else. And we'd eventually leave because I said, well, what's the problem? He said, well, the background music on the speakers, if I'm too close to sitting underneath a speaker and I'm looking right at you, I can see your lips moving, but all I hear is the music from the speakers on my hearing aids. Is that typical?
Absolutely, it is. It's a very common problem. It's probably the most the largest complaint from hearing aid users is background noise.
Yeah, he carries one of those little remote controls, and he's dialing it up and down and working both ears separately. So how do you remedy that? What all we've done, I found it the easy way out was find a restaurant with no background music on, and we've done famously ever since.
You've done the main thing. That's the smartest thing.
Just eliminate the noise.
You used your head.
Right.
But the other thing is, and your heart. But the other thing about hearing aids is they are a hearing aid, not a new ear. And that's why when one gets hearing aids, they need to know the limitations of hearing aids so they've got realistic expectations.
Right.
Now, that said, hearing aids are digital. They're little miniature computers. They're all, as of 1997, they've all been digital.
Okay.
So we program the hearing aids to also have directional microphones. So they deliberately pick up sound in the direction you're facing.
Okay.
And there's all different setups of that, permutations and combinations of that. When in quiet, they'll be omnidirectional. They'll pick up sounds from all directions.
Right.
As soon as the hearing aid circuit senses speech-like sound, they focus more to the front. A second thing that hearing aids will do is they'll have digital noise reduction. And the hearing aid will try to use artificial intelligence to sample what it deems to be noise as opposed to what it thinks is speech.
Right.
And it'll try to tip the teeter-totter to amplify the speech more than the noise.
Gotcha. Okay.
All that being said, it's still artificial intelligence.
Right.
A hearing aid is an aid.
So you also have to be your own aid.
You got
Use
it.
your hearing aids and your brain in combination, and life gets a whole lot better.
Well, indeed, and there's lots of strategies that you can use. The one that you used was absolutely fabulous. As Ted says, you use your brain, but your heart as well, because when you're sensitive and empathetic, and you start to see people who are struggling in those kinds of environments, essentially you want to know, okay, what strategies can I use to help, right?
Exactly.
And one of them is to get them away from noise, right? Get away from that competing noisy environment. The other thing is get them away from a lighted window. Let's say I have a lighted window behind me and you're trying to hear me and the light's shining in your eyes. Are you going to be able to get any additional help from any body cues or speech reading? No, because you can hardly see me. There's all kinds of strategies that you can use to improve your ability, and that's part of our job as clinicians is to ensure that we spend time with you and assist you by counseling you properly how to properly use this amplification and make sure that you perform much better in those situations.
And that speaks to the business model that you developed decades ago up north. Customer service first, last, and always.
Absolutely, yeah.
I got to jump very quickly because we're running out of time, and I need a comment from both of you on this. I'm sitting on SkyTrain. I'm heading into downtown Vancouver. There's a kid sitting beside me with earbuds on.
Oh, great.
Okay? Now there's a train. It's a full car. There's a ton of noise going on, and I can hear the music this kid next to me is listening to on his earbuds. He's got an iPod or something going on. I'm sitting beside him in a noisy subway car, and I can still hear the music he's playing. What is that kid doing to his ears, Dr. Ted?
It's called noise-induced hearing loss. It's the second most common cause of hearing loss in the world besides aging.
Now, boomers grew up with headphones.
Yes, we
and,
did.
and Walkmans later
Yes,
on in
we
the game.
did.
Yeah.
But those, though even the good headsets, they're different from earbuds.
Yeah.
Earbuds are superior quality.
See,
they're gorgeous
when we
quality.
had- when-
but we didn't have them when we were kids.
No, we had Sony Walkmans, which distorted when you cranked them up.
Right.
Today, we've beaten that, in quotes, because now we've gotten rid of the distortion that happens when you turn it up to 120 decibels.
That's right. So
That's-
without sounding like a real grumpy old person, what do we tell our grandchildren and our nephews and nieces about this when we can hear them listening to their little music thing while they're sitting in the same room as us across the room?
Yeah. If you can, we don't stare at the sun because you know it'll burn out your eyes.
Right.
Your ears, it's the same thing. The hearing loss from noise is permanent. If you can hear someone's earbuds and you're not even listening to the earbuds,
Right.
chances are that's loud enough to cause noise-induced hearing loss.
Okay.
Yep.
And we just, again, and I appreciate this because, this is a little different from the boomer life message,
Yes,
but
yes.
show me a boomer that doesn't have a kid or two in his or her life.
Yes, exactly.
And the thing about noise-induced hearing loss is it's preventable.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can't prevent aging, but you can certainly prevent noise-induced hearing loss.
And a lot of us boomers have discovered now that we're into our 60s and beyond that, maybe we should have turned it down back there in the 1960s and 70s.
Yes,
But,
exactly.
okay, here we are with, living with the consequences of being boomers.
Yes.
And in many cases, needing to avail ourselves of the services of professionals like yourselves because we're starting to recognize hearing loss and we can get over the ego stuff and go, okay, this is something that's no fun. I like to be able to hear. I used to be
Yes.
able to hear perfectly. I can't anymore.
Yeah.
So I should go see a pro.
Yes, exactly. Well, listen, one of the things that we have set up, it's part of our retail value proposition, what we offer our clients that differs from our competitors is that we try to facilitate you experiencing hearing aids. And that means that what we do is offer you 21 days to try the hearing aids, no down payment. You can take them home and try them for 3 weeks in the privacy of your own
And
home
these
and
are
your
the
lifestyle.
custom designed jobs that you've had testing for?
Absolutely.
Okay, all right.
Take them home for 3 weeks. At the end of 3 weeks, we'll work with you during that time. At the end of 3 weeks, if you're happy, you purchase them. Then you have another 69 days to continue to try them. And at the end of that total of 90-day period, if you're not fully satisfied, you can return them for a full refund. So don't take the advice of someone who obviously may have never tried a hearing aid or someone who's been unhappy. Use your own experience. Take the opportunity to take these units home for yourself and then try them for yourself and see if they help, because you're far, far better knowing for yourself that they're beneficial than taking somebody else's word for it.
Well, isn't that such a smart idea? Even to just go get and for goodness sake, the hearing tests are free at NextGen and Mainland.
Yes,
Nothing to
exactly.
lose.
So even if you take the test and go, as you said earlier, Ted, if there's nothing particularly wrong, at least now you've got a point of comparison.
Yeah.
So when you come back in 6 months or a year or 2 years, and then it's not any better, then you can go back to that original baseline and go, well, you're right. We've seen some loss here, and address it specifically and quickly.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Gentlemen, a real pleasure to have you finally
it's great,
visit us
Sterling.
on
Great
Boomer
to be
Life.
here. Yes.
It's been a slice of
Well,
thick one.
please come back, okay?
Yeah, we will. We'll
sure.
be happy to.
And if you have any emails about hearing issues, send them to me, Sterling at am650radio.com, and I will pass them along to Mark and Ted. Thanks so much for being with us on this episode of Boomer Life. We'll see you next time.